we are going to discuss about instruction pipeline. So if you see that various instruction, how it is being executed simultaneously, like main basic operation for the any instruction, what we are fetching, decoding, and execution. So for the multiple instruction, how these four operation actually we are going to consider. So we have to find the operand also. So that will be included here. So how it is going to perform simultaneously, and after that we'll see the different type of the hazards here, as well as we have a Born-Newman architecture also that we are going to see here. So still you didn't subscribe our channel, please subscribe it and share with your friend. So what is the pipeline? Like you have seen in case of arithmetic pipeline. So here for the instruction also, multiple instructions are being required at the same times. Okay, so that's why we have concept of the instruction pipeline. So instructions are being queued on the basis of first in, first out. Okay, so pipeline must be emptied and all instructions discarded. When it will be discarded? In case of degradation. Then we can go for the branch instruction also. So before that, if you see that here instruction pipelines reads the consecutive instruction from the memory and where various instructions are being executed. So that operation generally we are going to fetch the instruction. Okay. After that, we are going to decode and we are finding the effective address. After that, we are going to fetch the operand and finally execution will takes place. So these four steps are being considered here. So two segment pipeline with the instruction fetch unit and the instruction execution unit. So in that situation, that instruction fetch segment is implemented by using first in, first out. So it is going to perform as the queue rather than the stack. So here we have various following steps, like we have fetch the instruction from the memory, decode the instruction, calculate the effective address. Again, we have to fetch the operands from the memory, and finally it is the execution of the instruction. And many data again we have to store in the proper place in the memory, so that storing also required. So that memory access conflicts resolved here by using two memory bus. One can be kept for the instruction, one kept for the data. If single bus is there, then will be slow process and it is most efficient if instruction cycle is divided into segment of the equal duration, like for the fetching equal duration, decoding equal duration, for again execution equal duration, so that delay will not occur. So here if you see that four segment instruction pipeline here, this example. So first segment is going to fetch the instruction from the memory. Second segment, what will be the step? Decode the instruction and calculate the effective address. So this fetching in segment 1, we are going to write as the FI. And here decoding and finding the effective address, we are going to write as the DA. And here again, if it is going to be the branch instruction, then like we used to call the subroutine task. Okay, same thing is here. If branch is not available, then we'll fetch the operand from the memory that we are going to write as the FO. And finally, after that, we have execution of the instruction. Again, interrupt will occur. If no interrupt, then again we'll start from the initial stage. Now, if branch is going to occur, we have to update the program counter, you know, that subroutine task, and we have to, after completing the branch instruction, we have to empty the pipes, and again, from starting, it will takes place. In case of interrupt is going to occur, then first we need to handle the interrupt. Again, there also we have to update the program counter. So here it is being assumed that processor has separate instruction and data memories. So for FI and FO can takes place at the same time. So both having a different pipeline here. So due to that, both process will takes place at the same time. So that's why finally overall four steps: FI, fetching of instruction, That is one segment. Next, we have decoding and finding the effective address, second segment. Then we have fetching of operand in the third segment. And last is the execution. So finally, here we have four segments. So if you see here in the example, so first, this is going to represent the cycle. So during the first cycle, fetching of instruction. During the second cycle, decoding and effective address. And here fetching of operand. Third is the execution. Now again in the second one, what you are going to see here, fetching will take place during the second cycle. In the third, again like this consecutively takes place. Now if you see that here in the fourth cycle, one instruction is being executed, one is being fetched, third one being decoded and finding the effective address, and fourth one is the fetching the again instruction. But if third is going to be the branch instruction here. So if branch instruction is going to occur, then new fetching will stop and this branch instruction itself is being executed. Once this branch instruction is being executed, after that new fetching will start. Like here, if you see that by sixth cycle, this branch instruction is being completed, then from seventh cycle, new fetching takes place. Okay. So whenever branch instruction is going to occur, branch will be executed and pipeline will be emptied after that. So next we have another question maybe here apart from this, what are the various hazards in case of arithmetic here instruction pipeline. So here we have three different types of the hazards that we are going to see. What is meaning of hazards here means like what problem we are going to get here in the execution, even in case of instruction pipeline. So that situation prevents an instruction from executing during the designated clock pulse. So that is called as the hazard situation. So we have structure hazards, data hazards, and control hazards. Maybe sometimes one marks question also. What are the three different types of the hazards in arithmetic that is instruction pipeline? That is structural, data, and control. Now we'll see one by one. First one is the structural hazards. So this hazards is going to occur due to the available structure, due to available infrastructure. Like something you want to do, if infrastructure is not available, what you'll do? If you want to do some research, laboratory is not available. So that is called as the structural hazards. So here if you see that we have two architectures. One is the von Neumann architectures. In these architectures, we have single memory unit is there. Here you see that input and output and single memory unit, okay, is going to perform the for the that is for the data as well as for the instruction also. Whereas in case of Harvard architecture, if you see that it has separate memory for the instruction and separate for the data. So that's the benefit in the Harvard architectures. Okay, that what structural hazards we are going to get here that will be overcome in case of Harvard architectures. So when instruction is faced, previous instruction may read or write data will take place. So that's why if instruction is being fetched and data is also being operated, so two different lines, bus line is required. Okay, two different requirement is there. So at the same time, we can't perform the two tasks with the memory. So that's why separate memory is there. Then it is better what is happening in case of Harvard architectures. Second one is about data hazards. So data hazards means it is about the resource of the information. So when you are trying to do something, like for this, some people, they want to do something, but money is not available. So similarly here, if you suppose your current execution depends upon the past data outputs, and if that data is not available, so then it will be called as the data hazards. Okay. So when depends on the result of the previous execution. And data is needed if it is not produced. So that is called as the data hazards. Next is the control or branch. The name itself is the branch, means like a jump, subroutine. So when branch or jump instruction is encounters, then fetching should start from the target address. So that you know about subroutine, how we are going to jump. Okay. So it may not be succeed the address. So when branch is going to occur, first we have to go for the next address to execute the branch. After that only we'll come to this one. So next we have another is the data dependency. So for the data dependency, you can explain these topics based upon the one is called as the hardware interlock. This concept can be used here. Again, we have operand forwarding. So operand is about the data. Okay. So this can be used here. Operand forwarding. Next, we have about the delayed load. So by the help of these three subtopics, you can explain the data dependency. Whereas in case of handling of branch instruction, we have different computers having different way. Okay, like we have here prefetch. So before itself, fetching will take place. So prefetch the target instruction where it is going to occur in case of branch, so that we can avoid the control hazards. Next, we can have branch target buffer. Okay, so that buffer we have previous storage, or we can say temporarily. Next, we have loop buffer. So these are the different techniques which is being used by the different computer systems. Apart from we have branch prediction. Okay, this also can be used. And again, we have about delayed branch. So this is the various way how you are going to explain handling of branch instruction, how computer is going to take place. So here overall we have seen about this instruction pipeline, and we have three different types of the hazards and Bondman architecture as well as Harvard architectures, how it is going to help to overcome the structure hazards. Any doubt is there? Write in the comments box. Okay, like and share with your friends. Thank you. Thank you very much.